Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to One Hub Racing Season 24, the opening round of the championship. And what a better track to do it in Albert Park for the Australian Grand Prix. And we got some interesting weather for qualifying. The commentary remains unchanged compared to last season, which is great to see. So you get our voices again. You got myself, Jess Ball, in the commentary box, and joining me with me this evening, as for the rest of the season, we have got Max Ring. Max, welcome back, and you're on the PC this season. So how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good, Jess, and yeah, happy to be back here for another season here in One Hub.
Perfect. And we actually get to start on time this evening because you're off work, which is great to see. So we get to talk a little bit about the track, the calendar, and about the season as a whole, and the lineup as well. So obviously we are in Australia on the 21st of January. Then we head to China. Then we got Miami, Netherlands, France, Austria, Monza, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Azerbaijan, Canada, and Abu Dhabi. We've got 4 sprint races. And what's different about this week and for the rest of the season, it's not dynamic weather. It's going to be custom weather as decided by the wheel with the weather conditions. And we better get going. We're talking about qualifying quick because they've got to get going very quickly. But what a good calendar that we got on store here this evening and for the rest of the season, Max. What are you looking forward to?
Well, yeah, you said this already, an amazing calendar. I'm looking forward to France. That's a circuit which isn't really used often by leagues on this game. I'm also looking forward to Canada, Canada, if I can get my pronunciations correct. That's a very interesting circuit and certainly is going to throw up a challenge for these drivers. I'm also looking forward to the sprint race in Austria. That always delivers Austria. It's a magnificent circuit and it always just provides great racing with how it's laid out and how short it is. So drivers feel like there's more need to make the moves when they have to. And I'm also finally going to be looking forward to a sprint in Baku for round 10, the penultimate round of the season. That's going to be a fun one, especially with pretty much 2 races around, which is already a difficult circuit. So that is certainly my top picks for this season coming up.
Yes, indeed. And let's have a look at the lineup. There has been a few changes since I downloaded the image this morning, so we will go through them. So we got Speed Queen and Oshin in the Red Bull. Oshin got promoted from Tier 2 last season. Chalker's a returner, as well as Samba, both from ERT in the Ferrari. We've got one of the owners and Mr. Sweat, Nick and Colin in the Mercedes. We've got Jayco and Larkin in the Alpine, like they were last season. Senna and Owen Wyatt in the McLaren. We've got Lincoln, Nate Clark in the Alfa Romeo. Lakitu and Extreme in the Aston Martin. Casper and JM in the Haas. JM was our P2 champion from last season. Bryn and Aiden in the AlphaTauri. And Ben Mills and Matter in the Williams. Only 17 drivers tonight. Hopefully we'll get more of a better turnout as we head through the season. We may as well head to qualify, Max, to talk about what is going on. Circuit first season Formula 1 1996. 29 laps awaiting our drivers tonight. 14 corners, 5 to the left, 9 to the right. This could be interesting. It is a medium to high speed circuit, and as we've seen in the other tiers this evening, we could see a lot of safety cars.
Yeah, this circuit does punish you for making mistakes at any given moment at any corner on this circuit. It's one of the probably greatest to drive and hook up a lap. If you get this lap perfect, it feels so satisfying and it can easily be one of your best laps on the game. It's just a circuit where it rewards you so much for being smooth, consistent, and just really managing your tyres as well in a race sense as well. When it comes to tyre management, battery management is going to be key as well for the race, because of course there isn't too many corners that are heavy braking, so it's very difficult to build that battery back up compared to the likes of, say, Monaco or a circuit with a lot of slow and heavy braking zones. So this circuit is going to be a challenge for these drivers. It's very easy to make a mistake, put it a little bit wide onto the grass and spin yourself round. and it is probably one of the best tracks on the game to get a lap correctly, as JM, last season's P2 champion, puts himself onto the top, but Ben Mills then beats him by just over 1.2 seconds. But it's intermediates at the moment, as you can see, so these drivers will just be finding their feet, might be over-fueling their car slightly to do multiple runs. But yeah, this circuit is absolutely amazing to drive, and from a driver's perspective, probably one of the best and most satisfying to hook a lap up.
Yeah, and it's important that you get it right because the weather is set to approximate. So the drivers, well, it is different per session because obviously the weather combinations is the same for each tier. So I remember when I was racing in P3 earlier on, you only had a chance to get one lap in. If you messed up one lap, then that's it. You would lose a lot of time up, and that's what messed me up in qualifying earlier. And we already got some lap times on the board, as Bryn unfortunately has invalidated. It is common to invalidate around here. And I'm running on board with my pick for the championship, Samba, as he makes his way towards turn 9 and 10. He was one of the drivers who got picked in the drivers' press conference, and he was saying that he wants to go for the championship. So excited to be back. So that was his response to his main aims and objectives coming up. He's passed in towards turn 11, heading towards turn 12 and 13. It's a really tight right-hander coming up. And then a left-hander. You've got to switch your car to the right-hand side to able to hook your lap up correctly. And we will be able to tell if the track is going to get worse very soon indeed when the lap times start coming down. So Nathan comes across the line and it's a 1:26.1. Wow, that is very, very quick from Nathan, as Nick's going to head towards the line now as well, as he's going to try and see if he can beat that. Up to the line he goes, 1:27.0, which puts him to P8. I believe that's a decent lap for him as well. And Bryn is going to try and go again. But what a statement for Nathan Samba, who's returned to the league after a few seasons off.
Yeah, really big return there from Nathan, but someone else who is quite surprising as well is Aiden, already up into second place. I think this might be his debut in One Hub, and I know him personally. I have raced him in the past as well, and he is a very quick driver, so look out for Aiden throughout the course of this season. I think I saw in the media night and in his interview that he was feeling a little bit rusty, as we've got George and Lynx now both out of the session, both making mistakes. George on the exit of turn number 6, and also Lynx on the exit of turn 10. But yeah, Aiden saying he feels a little bit rusty, but I feel like with Aiden, I know him personally, he's a quick driver, and once he gets a few races under his belt, he'll be as quick as ever and be right up at the top of the standings, I reckon, come the end of the season.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it could be between them two as well. Nathan, Bryn and Aiden were looking very quick in a qualifying night, which was great to see as well. And one thing we are making a reintroduction to this league is TAS, which is Telemetry Analysis System, as Bryn has had a moment through turn 5. And that is basically where we get to see tyre wear, damage and penalties and fuel, ERS usage, pretty much everything currently. And it's nice it's making its reappearance to the league. I'm really, really excited. I'm sure everyone is excited too, so we'll keep you up to date. It would tell you about purple sectors, but I can tell, Max, that is definitely getting worse. It's definitely not the same conditions as we saw at the start of the session. It was set from light rain to heavy rain, and it looks like Nathan Samba is going to get pole position unless anyone near the back can beat him.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, at the moment, that rain is certainly getting worse and worse. Speed Queen actually is just aborted there, that they were just heading into the final part of the circuit, but JM is now heading into the pit lane. I reckon we'll just see drivers retire from this point. I don't think anybody, unless you've set a really scrappy lap time, going to be improving around here. So yeah, now the rain has got too heavy. The intermediates will be too slow, and yeah, this will pretty much be the end of the sessions, where I'm on board with Casper, and the understeer through turn 1 is just so lethal that you might as well be in a boat on these intermediates, because there is no grip from them at all. Probably can't get really too much heating into them, as they're quite cold. Of course, these tyres are mainly used for when the track's slightly damp and a little bit greasy, and not when the circuit is like a swimming pool. So for Casper and everybody else, I feel like that is going to be the end of the session. And yeah, Nathan Samba, what a way to introduce yourself into the league. On the one and only lap he really did there, puts himself onto pole position for the first round of the season.
I think that was pretty much the same outcome as what we saw in the P3 tier earlier on that I was racing at, where it was literally one lap and you're pretty much getting the lap hooked in. If you don't get the lap hooked in, that is it. And we get a little bit of an idea as to what the conditions are going to be in the race in the future as well when the combinations come up as well. But the tag is not helping. It says light rain for the next 10 minutes, and it's clearly not light rain. So that's not going to help us in that front. But as we know, it's getting worse. Purple set to 1 was belonging to Aiden. Purple set to 2 was Owen Wyatt down in 10th spot. And purple set to 3 is Samba. So no one got the perfect lap together in these conditions. And Extreme is going to be like, you know what? I don't care that the track is getting worse. He's going on to some full wet tyres, and I'm just trying to see if I can get his pre-race interview up. I can't seem to find it at the moment, but he's looking quite confident going into the season. He feels very happy to be placed in this tier, and he's looking forward to seeing what he could do. But it's not going to be wet for the race, but you think, you know what, let's have some fun.
Yeah, of course, there's still plenty of time left of this session, so you might as well maybe just go out. I mean, a 27.4, he might be able to improve very slightly on that on these wet compounder tyres. I wouldn't really assume that he would, but you never know. It might be at that point of the crossover period, so the wet compounder tyres aren't too far off the intermediates, but at this stage, you might as well just have a little bit of fun, because nothing's really going to change from the order that it is now, so for Extreme, just go out there, get a little bit of time on the Extreme Wets, the blue walled wet weather compound, and yeah, have a little bit of fun as he's heading up the main straight now. I don't think Speed Queen is going to be improving. No, Speed Queen is actually aborted. Nick Race again, I think, also has aborted, and so has Colin as well. So yeah, that is going to be the end of qualifying. And for Extreme, he's just going round and getting a little feel for the circuit, maybe getting himself maybe into some sort of rhythm with the car, and just helping himself out slightly. But I think, yeah, as I was about to say, he did go into AI mode and retire there. So yeah, the end of your session probably will be in the next few minutes or so once everybody, the remaining drivers, do retire from the session.
Yes, indeed, as well. And we got a few comments in the chat. Papa Squanch, congratulations, by the way, for winning the P3 tier earlier on as well. Really brilliant drive. And he's saying, best thing after this long race, watch others do the same thing. Yeah, I could totally agree on that one. And he's rooting for Senna, who's currently down in P13 at the moment, as Nick currently gets damage in the pit lane. I find that quite funny. So he's saying, fingers crossed for Senna, who'd be aiming for a good first appearance in Tier 1. Anthony Hunt's in the chat saying, hey guys, hello, unfortunate for what happened in your race. And Gam saying, come on, Speed Queen. I'm not the only female that's racing in this league. We've got another one. I recruited her. She's racing as her first league racing in quite a long time, so good to have her here. She's down in B15, but to be honest, there's many people that could have improved a lot quicker earlier on as well. And we got a bit of a lull happening at the moment with 5 minutes left to go. Should we pick on some pre-race interviews just to get us started? Have you got a few to mind, Max?
To be honest, no, I do not. I'm looking at the Taz at the moment, so you have all like the answers at hand, and to be honest, I'll be the one. Yeah, I'll be the one that supplies my comments on what they have said.
Okay, cool. So we've got Ben Mills, who's a new driver. He's currently sitting in 3rd place in qualifying at the moment, which is great to see him improving. He's looking forward to the racing. So Familiar Faces should be great fun. He was happy with his performance on qualifying 9. I think he should be definitely. And his choice of team, he was very happy with it because he got the contract. Because team contracts, 10 drivers were signed to a team, and Ben was one of them. And he was saying Williams is his favourite car to drive in this game. He was glad to know he had it for the season, and he's looking forward to seeing how both Matta and him can do. And his main goal is top 5 in the championship and hopefully a race win. And he has no expectations for the constructors. Good point. Keeping it open. And he's hoping for a dry race to start the season. Well, you are going to get a dry race to start the season, my friend, as well. So there we go. That's his thoughts on the season. What do you think, Max?
I mean, he doesn't really need a dry race to start off this season. He's done pretty well in this wet qualifying session. He's in the top 3, so he can maybe even tick off one of his boxes of getting a win in this first round of the season. We can only just wait and see what happens when it comes to the main race. And I mean, with him saying he wants to be top 5 in the championship, we're just going to have to see how that progresses with him, and how his speed is, and how everybody else is around him pace-wise in those races. All he has to do is be consistent, really, getting consistent points week in, week out, and he can easily be up in that top 5 at the end of the season. And that's got to be something that these drivers need. It's all about consistency here. You don't just get a win and then you might drop down to a 14th and you get another podium, another race, and you keep doing that where you score no points and then get a podium. You're not going to win championships like that. It's not how it works. So
No.
for Ben, he just needs to be consistent, and that top 5 can certainly come. And but we just need to see how this first race goes. And when it comes to Constructors' Championship as well, I respect him saying that he's got no expectations, because, to be honest, it's a two-man job, and you're not the only one driving for the team. So at the end of the day, for Ben, it's going to be just do the best that he can, and in the Constructors, if they do end up winning it, that will just be an added bonus to wherever he finishes in the championship. So for Ben, I feel like he's got pretty decent expectations, and at the moment, in 3rd place for qualifying there, he certainly could show some pace in the main session here.
And qualifying is now done. Let's have a run through of qualifying, shall we, as we wrap up the session. So Nathan Samba on pole position with Aiden in 2nd. Ben Mills, as we were talking about him, in 3rd. Bryn in 4th. J. Cole 5th. JM in 6th. Colin in 7th. Casper 8th. Nick in 9th. Owen White in 10th. Then we've got George, Extreme, Senna, Lynx, Speed Queen, Lakitu and Larkin rounding up your top 17. Don't know where everyone else is at the moment. And now the drivers are going to be getting their setups ready for a dry race. And we only have, I think, 3 more heavy rain-affected qualifyings this season. It could happen next week, could happen the week after, but this is what the drivers will be fighting for this season. £50 voucher, PS or Amazon voucher for the winner of the Drivers' Championship, plus a trophy. 2nd and 3rd, they get free entry to next season, plus some trophies as well. And we've got some prizes coming up to be confirmed. Massive shout out to our sponsors, by the way. Next Level Racing. They provided cockpits in the past. I can't wait to see what prizes they'll provide in this league this season. We've got Aztec Sim Sports. We are providing merch from them as well, so thank you to them. Pure Sim Gear. You can get a discount code from them. More information about that shortly. And there'll be a prize to the winner of the rankings to get a free item from the store of their choice, and we will cover shipping costs for them if they're outside the UK. Our partners, Vespertine, supporting our championship apparel and merch. ERT partners sponsors our trophies. They give free entry to ERT drivers in the league, and partner the ERT Go and Get Tough Award, which is attend all races, finish outside top 3, and complete all pre and post race interviews. And our partners at SimGrid that provide our community and platform for our standings and sign-ups and lots more stuff. So thank you very much to our partners at SimGrid. Without you, we wouldn't have a league. Same with all our sponsors. And also, it is the winter. It is a tough time at the moment. It is time to talk. If you are having a bad time, Mental Health Foundation will be able to help you with that one. So we got through all of our sponsors. Quick reminder of the rules. To mandatory 2-stop race for the drivers. There is also rules about the shoers, which they can find in the SimGrid website. We'll keep an eye on that as we go through the session. We've also got a dry race, as I was saying as well. And they can't go side by side through a safety car restart. Those are the main rules, of course. And yeah, should be a good one, I think. After seeing qualifying, it's hard to tell, really, isn't it, who we think's going to win this race?
Yeah, it certainly is, because some drivers obviously might have made mistakes there. But we're about to get underway now, Jess, so why don't you take us away?
Yes, here we go. The 5 red lights are coming on and we are go, go, go. As Samba gets a good start, but Aiden alongside. So is the other AlphaTauri or Brennan towards turn number 1. We could see a few people going off. I do see a few people going off in the background. But the top 2 going A-okay. Aiden trying to go down the inside into turn 3 already, but couldn't quite do it, unfortunately. They've got to be careful to not one right in turn 4. Casper and Owen Wyatt going side by side through turn 4 on the exit. Oh, as Casper's gone wide. Luckily, he hasn't got a penalty, but Lakitu does in the background, which is not ideal with him having a battle with Nick. Surely he'll get his penalty removed from that one, but so far, pretty clean from most people. A few people going off. Ben Mills trying to go on the exit of turn number 9 as he tries to cut through to try and get past Aiden to try and close in on Samba, which he does. So great move for him. Casper and George now going side by side through turns 9 and 10. Very tight for Casper, but I think he just about gets the move done. Some great racing from all of them. I'm looking at the tyres, Max, and everyone, as most people have gone for softs, except about 5 drivers.
Yeah, that could pay dividends come the end of the Grand Prix, of course. As you say, mandatory 2-stop can throw some strategies up in the air. And I wouldn't be surprised if the drivers on the mediums are just going to go for a medium, soft. And then the drivers on the softs at the moment could possibly go for a soft, medium, soft to get the softs at the end of their stint. Speed Queen managing to get past Lynx, a good move from her. She now moves herself up into 12th place. Speaking about overtake, she is actually the biggest gainer so far. I say that, Owen Wyatt is now promoted himself up into 6th place. He's got past JM, last season's P2 championship winner. So very nicely done there from the McLaren, but is on the soft compound tyres compared to the Haas being on those mediums. So for Owen, it might be a little bit of a victory for now, but later on in this Grand Prix, JM can certainly attack a bit more as this race continues. Larkin able to get past Extreme there, up into 14th place for the Alpine. Up at the front, Samba still leads the way from Ben Mills. Ben going a little bit wide out of turn 10. I wouldn't be surprised if Aiden might have been somewhat not happy about getting overtaken there, but not the end of the world for him. He'll probably just like to now get into a rhythm in this Grand Prix and just build off the progress that he can make later on in this one, of course. Tyre wear, these drivers can really just push these tyres to their limits and really just see how far they can make it into the Grand Prix before making a stop. Undercut, I reckon, will be very powerful around the circuit, like Australia, where it's very easy to just be able to put the foot down and go. So being on those fresher tyres could pay dividends come the pit stop window. We see Casper overtaking his teammate JM. That could be a tactical switch there from the 2 Haas drivers, because of course Casper is on the soft compounded tyres, whereas JM is on the medium. Senna and Speed Queen going side by side. Speed Queen trying to make more progress up the order, down in 12th place still, but now attacking the McLaren in front of her as Ben Mills on lap 3 of this Grand Prix already picks up a 3-second time penalty, and for someone who could be in the battle for the race win here, that could be crucial to his chances of picking up some valuable points.
Owen Wyatt trying to get past Jacob. What a great move for him. Is I think he's got a lot more downforce compared to a lot of other cars, so he's now up another position. That's Speed Queen out of the race. She's out of the race, and she's got her front wing end plate gone, and that is a VSC now deployed. And will that give the ones on the softs a free pit stop to go onto the softs, or will they stay out? We are seeing the softs starting to go off very, very quickly indeed. The highest soft tyre wear is from Ben Mills, 13%, and he comes in to the pit lane. Nathan comes in as well. If I was on the softs, I would definitely come and get your first stop out of the way. And I'm just seeing at the moment, Senna's got massive side pod damage. Floor damage and side pod damage. That's the thing we get to see it in this. We get to see floor and side pod damage. We didn't get to see that last time we had Taz, which is great to see. So most of the soft runners have come in. The only ones that have not come in is Aiden, Bryn, Casper, JM, and George. Oh, Ben! Ben's got a drive-through for speeding on the VSC. That is annoying, and I think his chance, unfortunately, Matt, to him getting the race win is over.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's really infuriating for him after having a pretty strong start to this race, promoting himself up into second place, and now 3 seconds and a drive-through as well to boot, as there's a switch between the two AlphaTauris. Aiden letting Bryn go there. Of course, Bryn obviously had the DRS there, so there's no point losing valuable time there between the two. And for Aiden, he now is into second place, not able to lead a lap just yet. I say that, Bryn locking the rears there as he heads into turn 12, but luckily for him, manages to keep the car in a straight line. But yeah, that side pod and diffuser damage there for, actually, sorry, not diffuser, floor damage there for Senna does really, I would say, show that he did make contact there with Speed Queen. It's unfortunate for Speed Queen, actually. She was looking like she was having a really strong race there so far in this Grand Prix, and maybe Senna just didn't see her there and just turned across her. As here comes Aiden up the inside of his teammate Bryn, getting the move done nice and easy, as we've got Nick race again. And oh!
Whoa!
Nick and Samba on the exit of turns 1 and 2.
Safety car!
Both into the wall. Safety car. I don't know what's happened there. I just saw the Mercedes heading straight into the wall there, and I think there was contact between them, and Nathan, who was also another driver who's looking to win this one, is out of the race on lap 5 of this Grand Prix. Again, I have no idea what happened. I think Nathan's gone down the inside, understeered, taken Nick into the wall with him, and unfortunately for both Nick and Nathan, they are now out of this Grand Prix. And for the likes of Aiden, who didn't box, and Bryn as well, who didn't box under that first virtual safety car, they have been rewarded.
Didn't serve his drive-through.
Oh! George and JM have just collided under safety car.
Well, that's not what you do when you in under safety car, my friend. That's kind of like George Russell in a way as well, and that's kind of literal because his name is George Chalkers. But there we go. As unfortunately, my pick to win this one, as is out. So that's my first commentator's curse of the stream, because my pick for the championship is not doing well, and he's out. So 3 drivers out, which is not ideal. So the ones who I think should have boxed, Aiden, Bryn, and Casper, which Aiden is doing so. Let's have a look, and they're all going in. Pretty much, if you haven't made your first stop yet, going in is probably ideal. Aiden's got 1 warning. Hold on, let me just check. What does PS? No, he hasn't got 1 warning. He's got Oh no, that's pit stops. Okay, that's pit stops. My bad. That is pit stops. So that was roughly about a similar time. We saw, I think, quite a lot of the tiers this evening have a safety car at this point. The ones who started on the softs probably have an advantage. The ones who started on the mediums, they either have to go onto a fresh set of mediums or go on the hards. What would you do at this point if you started on mediums, Max?
I would probably go maybe onto another set of the mediums and then onto the softs come the end of the Grand Prix, because then, of course, you get both compounds out the way and you can pretty much copy what the drivers on the softs are doing. So I would have personally gone onto those mediums, and again, obviously, as it's mandatory to stop, you have to then go back on into the pit lane again. So, to be honest, that I feel like is the fastest strategy at this stage in the race. The soft would not make it in this Grand Prix from this point onwards. So, I would have gone for a medium soft personally. But again, it's each to their own, whatever they feel most comfortable with there. And what I was going to say something. And one thing I did actually want to mention is that Ben Mills, of course, hasn't served his drive-through penalty, and for him, that is also going to be crucial now we're under safety car, is that he's going to actually drop all the way to the back of the field, and really, that's going to affect how his race is going to be run now, and he's got to be sort of praying for another safety car in this one.
Yeah, I think most people would hope for another safety car, to be honest, as well, because if you're in the top 12, you do get some decent points. It's first place gets 20 points, second place 17, and then all the way up to 12th place gets 1 point, plus an additional point if you finish the race. So if you finish the race and win the race, you get 21 points. Fastest lap points, well, that's doubled. If you're inside the top 10, you get 2 points. If you're outside the top 10, you get 2 points as well, which gives something to fight for that championship point. They're probably glad that it's not raining in this one, because they pretty much struggled for... they probably would have struggled for tyre warm-up at this moment in time as well. I'm just looking at Owen Wyatt's tyres right now. He's one of the only ones who stayed out. He's on 6% more wear compared to everyone else on the field, whereas Aiden is on 1% on the rears. How's that going to affect the guys like Owen and Jaco and Lakita who have stayed out for an extra few laps?
It will hurt them slightly, obviously, because the guys on the younger tyres will have a bit more purchase and a bit more grip than the likes of Owen, Lakitu, and also the likes of Lynx, J. Cole. It will hurt them slightly, but nothing too major. It won't affect their pace. It's not going to be like someone... We'll use Abu Dhabi 2021 as an example, where Max was on fresh softs and Lewis Hamilton was on really old hards. It won't affect the likes of Jayco and Owen Wyatt in that way, where Max has superior grip on the exit of corners. So for these drivers, it is worth staying out, 100%. You cannot fault them for staying out here. They're on the strategy they want to be, and this safety car does help them, maybe even prolong that tyre life to maybe box onto the softs a little bit later. So we're now going to really see just all-out not driver warfare, but all-out racing, very aggressive, of course. There's another pit stop coming the way, so you don't have to manage the tyre at all. You can just push all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. So I feel like for the likes of Owen White and J. Cole, they're in a very good position, and they have put themselves into very good places after boxing in the earlier virtual safety car.
Right, here we go then. We are about to get going for the round number 2 of a restart, and it's Aiden versus Owen Wyatt to the line, and we got, I think, Ben Mills serving his drive-through penalty in the pit lane. And we got Bray going side by side with Cass heading towards turn number 1. He's not giving up without a fight. He wants to get positions ASAP, and he's not waiting for very long to try and get some moves done. Heading towards turn number 3 now. To the inside he goes, sprinting, and that was a fantastic move from the AlphaTauri driver who's done very well in USA last season, coming from lower down the grid to start and get some good points as well. So we think he's going to go quick here. George and Lakita going side by side. George trying to cover off Lakita in turn 5, but that's a hard place to go through in turn number 5. It's just very, very tight corners, not going to lie. And George is doing very well just to keep it on the road. And, oh, that's weird. Ben has got his drive-through still there. That is interesting. So now we know, do not follow the safety car in if you want to serve your drive-through.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a rookie error there from Ben. You're not actually allowed to do anything until you are green flag racing when it comes to the drive-through penalty. So for Ben, that's really unfortunate, but he can now take these mediums, I think, to the end of the Grand Prix. So all he has to do now is just focus up, hit his marks, of course, serve his drive-through on this lap, hopefully, and really just focus on the racing aspect as Aiden comes across the line, sets fastest lap of the Grand Prix and is 1.1 seconds clear at the front of the field here to Owen Wyatt, behind who is being hounded by Bryn. Bryn is starting to fly up to the back of the McLaren. Here he comes down to the inside for turn number 3. Late on the brakes from the AlphaTauri, and he makes it an AlphaTauri 1-2. Of course, we're not really... of course, we're used to seeing an AlphaTauri up at the front after, I think it was Timo last season who won the championship. So, but Aiden and Bryn, they're just carrying on that dominance we saw last time around. And for Bryn, he has got a lot of pace in his car at the moment and is going along very nicely, up in second place now from being down in 4th on the restart, and past the 2 cars within the matter of 2 laps at the same corner.
That was the great stuff from the pair of them as well. Luckily, I noticed I was on mute before doing that right now, as well as I was sorting out some Taz issues as well. Kind of a lot of things happening with Taz at the moment, but glad we are using that tonight as we got Aiden and Bryn 1 and 2. Could be good for the constructors because they get free entry into next season if they can keep this up currently, as we're on lap 10 of 29 with Aiden still leading. Still one more stop to go for these guys. George looking very good on the back of JM as he's up to 6. I think JM has been my biggest good surprise because he is the P2 champion. I wasn't expecting him to do this well, and he's up into 6th place, which I have to say is very impressive for that. I was expecting the skills gap to be quite high for JM, but he is loving the pressure. He only cared about the constructors when he was asked in at the pre-race interviews, and he hates this track on this game. He's now under pressure by George now for turn 8 and 9. And yeah, he's doing a lot better than expected. And it does help that JM gets on with his teammate Casper. And chemistry with his teammate is so important, as George to the inside of the long back straight, as George is up into 6th place now. Good job on him. Colin is doing very well as well, up into 5th place. And don't forget, everyone, as most people have done their first stops, and it's benefited some drivers, it's not benefited other people. And pretty much the top 4 are in their own DRS train. This is what we like to see in P1.
Yeah, it certainly is, and at the moment they're all sticking with each other. Bryn has actually really caught up to the back of his teammate Aiden, so Bryn really, I would say, is the quickest driver in the field at the moment, and is really just starting to apply maybe a little bit of pressure to his teammate up in front, but will probably be happy to sit behind him for maybe the next few laps or so until that pit window. And then after then, we're just going to see all-out racing between the pair. As, yeah, you can see Bryn just letting off heading into turn 3 and just allowing his teammate to hold on to P1 for now. George now past Colin Mason. Of course, George is on the medium, so will have better grip compared to the driver on the hards. That's Extreme rounds. On the exit of turn 3, he was part of that train that we were spectating, but Extreme has gone round on the exit of the 3rd corner. A very tricky corner on traction. Don't know if there was any contact made either. That sent him round as Bryn has now got past his teammate.
It's battle for the lead. We got Bryn to the inside. Lovely job from him. He's making moves like no tomorrow in that AlphaTauri. He's from ERT. Quite a lot of drivers in this grid in ERT tonight. Could Aiden fight back? I don't think he has a DRS, you know, so he's going to try and stay behind, it looks like, for position as well. Let's look at battery, actually. We could look at battery with Tals without getting telemetry up. This is great. So Bryn is using more battery than Aiden currently on this lap. 40% for Bryn, 57% for Aiden. Owen White has only got 30, trying to stay behind these lot. That's going to be tough for him, and he's got more wear. So that makes him trying to close in on this top 2 very impressive, but he's losing ground to them at the moment. And Casper with the fresher rubber on 14% on overall compared to 22% for Owen Wyatt. It's going to try and get past him, but Casper not quite able to get through just yet. He's just been very patient as Lakitu and JM side by side through to turns 3 and 4. JM's got a penalty. Lakitu's almost been forced wide. And if you're forced wide there, you're definitely going to get an instant 3 second. That is cruel from the game, not going to lie. That's why I think Australia does have a few bugs, as Lynx gets a time penalty as well. 3 seconds, so does Extreme, probably in the same corner. As Casper to the inside of Owen Wyatt, and yeah, I don't think that was a contest there. Casper has the fresher rubber, and he's up into 3rd. Casper on the podium.
Yeah, nicely done here from Casper. Owen starting to fall off the back of the field slightly, top 4 should I say, slightly. Not really having the pace that we might have actually expected from him, because of course on his debut last time around last season, he really did perform. He got a podium out in Japan, and it looked like that form was staying for quite a while, but at the moment around Australia, not really showing the glimpses of pace that we saw last season. So maybe doesn't like the circuit, or just is maybe on a little dip of form. But Aiden now all over the back of his teammate Bryn. These two, I reckon, are just going to be interlocked in a duel for the next few laps. The AlphaTauris at the moment are looking to be some of the quickest cars on the circuit. I don't think there's going to be any moves near the back of the field. JM is getting close to Lakitu, but he's not going to be able to threaten Lakitu, sorry, heading into turn number 6 and then through 7, which then leads you into turn 8. JM behind the Aston Martin. DRS will be open for the Haas. We also see Aiden and Bryn getting close to each other. It's actually Colin Mason gets back past George. He now moves up into P5 on those hard compounder tyres, and now Colin might be able to have to defend here, as Aiden's managed to get past Bryn into turn 11. George versus Colin, though. George having to sit behind the Mercedes through turn 11 and then into the final part of that, where not really too much overtaking can be done. You can try a lunge into turn 13. It's not really the smartest of moves, though, because there is DRS as you then head down that main straight and into turn 1. And will George be able to fight the Mercedes into the first corner? Bryn is getting close to his teammate Aiden. I don't think Bryn is going to go for a move there. He knows it's a bit silly to go for a move into turn 3 when you have DRS a few corners later. But George, is he going to get closer? DRS open for the Ferrari behind the Mercedes, but no, having to sit behind into turn 3. And for George, this might be a little bit infuriating, you know, because the Mercedes on front is on the harder compounder tyres and an older set of tyres, so he's going to be slower and holding up the Ferrari here.
Yeah, as George gets a penalty, there's more time penalties, and I think if you get less time penalties here, you're potentially going to be doing well in this league, and it is kind of like a crime to get time penalties around Australia, as JM gets past Takitu up into 7th place, so he's climbing his way back up through the field. Usually you're able to tell who's gained the most places, and it is Owen Wyatt that's up 6 places. Nikiti's up 8, so those two have had probably the best starts out of anyone, and Owen Wyatt's going to make it 7, and he's up through into P3. He doesn't care that he's on older rubber compared to Casper. He's been saving on those tyres for a few laps now, and was able to go for a move that not necessarily it's done in that corner, and he's up into 3rd place. He was aiming for P3 in the championship after joining midway through the season. This season, he's had a chance now. He's got a full season now to make sure he try and get that. And at the moment, he's doing absolutely fantastic. And he started in 10th place. He's up to 3rd. It shows that the pace is there. Nikita getting a 3-second time penalty again. He's got to be careful not to get disqualified, my old man, as George hang a battle with Colin once again, up into 5th spot. That's going to keep going for a long time. Extreme, I think, is round again. No, he's not. He's going into the pits to do his 2nd stop. And that's the hard compound tyre. So that would get until the end of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, the two AlphaTauris again, pretty much a class of their own at the moment, as Casper once more gets past Owen White up into 3rd. They're going to be switching positions for a long time to come. Or would Owen want the DRS? We'll have to wait and see. But Max, let's watch a battle for the lead then.
Yeah, we got Bryn versus Aiden. Is Bryn going to go for the move? No, he's just going to back off, heading into turn 11. I reckon these two, though, of course, they're teammates. They don't want to really go too risky on each other. They'll be a lot more cautious and make sure they don't hit their teammate. That's rule number 1 in racing. Don't hit your teammate. It's the golden rule in Grand Prix racing, and probably the rule you look at the most when it comes to battling the car in front. If it's your teammate, show them a bit more mercy than you would when it's somebody from a different team. But yeah, I reckon Bryn and Aiden, they're just going to sit in this little DRS of the two and just going to keep pulling away from the cars behind. Lynx now picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane, as we got Casper and Owen heading down into turn 3 now. Casper's gone a little bit wide from the apex there through turn 3. This could maybe give Owen the run out of turns 4 and now through 5. Owen is getting closer to the back of the Haas in front of him, but of course on that older tyres there will be a bit less grip out of the corners, but now he's using his battery. He's gaining and gaining. He's going to use the DRS wisely here through turn 8, and it's nicely done there from Owen. Managed to get the run on the Haas, and of course Casper won't have DRS heading down into turn 11 to try fight back, which I do find is quite stupid around this circuit, because once you get by, you can't get anything. And now Bryn, gets past Aiden, and a nice DRS move there as well for Bryn. But yeah, I reckon these two of Aiden and Bryn just happy to sit with each other in DRS. They're not caring about who's where at this stage in the Grand Prix, but just wait until about lap 27, and that's when they'll start racing each other a lot more aggressively, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well on lap 17 of 29. I wonder who's going to pit first. That's the danger of them being 1 and 2. One of them will have to be compromised with the overcut compared to the undercut. And I've seen in P3, the undercut is absolutely huge on this game. And I think Bryn is going to be very, very worried about Aiden here. And I think usually when I, with my teammate in a party, we usually like whoever's first, whoever's leading in terms of like position compared to each other gets priority in the pit lane. So I'm sure that Bryn and Aiden will be thinking the same thing. They're probably in the party together as well. Casper and Owen fighting once again. This is like two mini battles happening at the front. We've got P1 and P2 fighting with each other, Casper and Owen fighting with each other, and George and Colin fighting with each other as Casper gets past Owen once more up into 3rd place. This is like racing or ping pong, and Colin going to do exactly the same thing. His hard tyres are a bit more durable than George is looking at it. 32% versus 34 for George. I think after the 30% cut-off, that's where they start to struggle on the mediums. And Colin is doing very well in 5th spot right now. This is the point where drivers who were on the mediums are going to be on a crossroad. Will they go onto the softs or will they go onto the hards? At this point, with a safety car window coming up, I think we're going to see some soft tyre runners coming up very soon.
Yeah,
they're coming in.
Yeah, George and Colin both into the pit lane, a set of softs, surely. George going onto a set of the mediums, of course, started, I think, on the softs. Let me quickly just double check that. Yes, he did. And Colin onto a set of mediums as well. Of course, Colin has been on the hard, so he has used 2 compounds in this Grand Prix, so he can go onto the mediums. But I think this is a bit of a risky strategy by them. I feel like staying out longer, going onto that soft compounded tyre at the end is going to be the better option in the long run. But for the short-term undercut, maybe Owen Wyatt and Casper need to look behind them here and not in front, because they can now have their gap eaten into by these 2 drivers, both on fresh medium compounded tyres. That's the key to getting past Larkin and sorry,
no,
Larkin
the way
getting past
round.
Yeah, I realised as soon as I said it, and we've also seen Casper being overtaken there by Owen Wyatt, and Owen, even though he's on quite old medium compounded tyres, is still throwing it about with Casper in front of him. Owen, of course, in the late 40% on his tyres, as Bryn is into the pit lane. What is it going to be for the 2nd AlphaTauri on the road?
I think it's going to be soft tyres. I think it's going to be soft compounded tyres. There's no point going onto the hards now because it's absolutely useless. Oh, mediums. Oh, yeah, he started on the soft compounded tyres, so he can go onto the mediums. And if there is a safety car, he could be absolutely screwed. So Bryn comes out then on fresh mediums. That's what I would have gone for at this stage, because I don't think Sauce would get to the end from here. It's optimum pace about 3 or 4 laps or so. So Bryn choosing to go first in the pit lane compared to Aiden. Aiden's got to get a move on now. He's got to push like his life depends on it. His last lap was a 1:21.8, and looking at the times that George and Colin are setting, they are, well, that's something we got to have a big gauge at the moment on last laps. So once we see the last laps coming through, that's where we can get to see the pace. Aiden, I think, will be okay. He should come out in front of those guys. So I think he's a few seconds potentially quicker at this stage, or it might be just they're just warming up their tyres. It may just be it's finding it hard to get a little bit of a tyre warm, as Colin getting past a Strucken Senna, who's got 66% floor damage and 27% side pod damage, which is not ideal for Senna right now, but he's doing well to stay in the top 9. Yellow flag, that is Jaco, that's had a... no, it's not Jaco, it's Extreme, who's had a moment in turn 9 somewhere, which... These last out of the runners, JM and Senna going for it. We got a lot of pits. Larkin is choosing to stay out as well as Akitu. Let's keep an eye on Aiden as he come out in the pit lane. Bryn coming up to the start-finish straight then. And Aiden gets the overcut. Aiden gets the overcut and is leading, but Bryn's going to be on much warmer tyres. Side by side through in towards turn 3. And it's showing that the warmer tyres are the best tyre to be on right now. So Bryn, your net race leader at the moment, but we've got 2 drivers still yet to make their second stop.
Yeah, it's quite surprising, actually, I feel like, how early these drivers have come in for their final pit stops. I was maybe expecting them around about lap 23, then onto the soft compounded tyres to the end. But, I mean, it's all up to these drivers. They're the ones that are the real brains and of the operation and know what they are doing maybe a little bit more than me when it comes to these. They've probably tested out all the strategies and seen this one could be the fastest come the end of the race. But Owen is now getting past George to the inside, of course, on the soft compounder tyres. One of the drivers that is now going to be pushing on and really trying to maximise the use of those softs. And look at the gain, and look at the gaining he's getting on Colin. To the inside goes the McLaren, and he gets the move done on Colin there. A really nice move from the McLaren to promote himself up into 6th place. The drive he got out of that chicane was unmatched by anybody else. And Colin drops down to 7th place. Lakitu is into the pit lane. Aiden is 5/10 behind his teammate Bryn. These two are now going to start battling each other a bit more aggressively now that they have finished their pit window. As here comes Aiden actually looking to the outside. Bryn's actually let him through. Bryn has decided he's not fighting that one and is just going to let his teammate through. He knows Aiden's slightly quicker at the moment and also can save a little bit of battery as well, can Bryn, with the DRS. And that can really help him in the long run in this race. And he picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's going to be crucial to his Grand Prix. And Bryn, by the slightest of margins, of course, the yellow line determines track limits around here, has just maybe thrown his chances of a race win away. As here comes Owen on Casper. To the inside goes the McLaren. Those soft tyres really working on Owen Wyatt's car. And he is starting to really hustle that car along.
I'm looking at Owen Wyatt's percentage. It's around about the same as Bryn right now. So it looks like Bryn, even though he's on older tyres, it's roughly about the same. So Owen could catch up if he wants to, but he can't afford to push too much. Otherwise, it could run out at the end. I'm a bit interested to see why Owen has gone for the soft now. If I were him, I would have waited a few laps, but we know the undercut is more powerful as we got a battle for second position as Larkin and Bryn trying to fight for P1 here, as Larkin, don't forget, still yet to stop, so it's not really for track position. Lakitu going for the move. Oh, no, it's George going into the pit lane. It's George coming to the pits. He's doing his final stop, and he's going on soft too. Senna's on soft as well. Ben still yet to pit, don't forget. He's still in 10th place. A safety car could bring him back into this. I think Ben probably is hoping for one. That's why he's staying out, as I think Senna is going to come behind George as Bryn dives it up the left-hand side of Larkin and gets past into P2. Yellow flag, that's George out the race, and this could be the opportunity that Ben's looking for. Safety car!
Oh, wow. Larkin is now within race podium, maybe not race win, but podium contention here. And Owen Wyatt, this helps him out massively.
He can save his tyres.
He can save his tyres and really push them to the end, and he'll be on the back of Bryn come the end of that safety car. George, I saw did come in for a front wing change, and obviously on those cold tyres, it's just gone a little bit wide, maybe onto the grass and dropped the rears. Aiden and Bryn into the pit lane. Larkin follows suit. Owen stays out. Casper stays out, and I feel like Bryn and Aiden are both going to go onto the soft compounded tyres. It'll be the smart choice. It'll be the smart choice to do. Aiden onto the softs. Bryn will follow suit. It's the smartest choice in the book there, I feel like. And Larkin has actually jumped Bryn due to the double stack. So Larkin in 5th place, maybe 6th. Yeah, 6th place when he comes up the pit lane. And for the likes of Aiden, Lakitu's now even been brought back into this race. So
pretty much everyone who was out of this one is back in this one, basically.
Yeah, but the thing is, we could really see Casper and JM here be on the back foot on those medium compounded tyres, and they could help Owen Wyatt potentially win this Grand Prix, depending on how hard they defend their podium positions.
Yes, I think it's going to be so tight. I think if you haven't got a penalty, you've got a chance of winning this race. I'm not even kidding. If you have a penalty, it's going to be cutting it fine at the moment. You can see the warnings. Owen Wyatt is on 2 warnings, though. So if he gets one more warning, he gets a penalty. Casper's on 2 as well. Aiden's on 0 warnings, by the way. So he's keeping it squeaky clean. So I think I have cursed too many people today. But if I was to put my money on anything, I think Aiden has got a great chance of winning because he's got no warnings at all to his name. And he can afford to get 2 extra warnings if he wanted to. Larkin's on 2 warnings. Bryn obviously has got a penalty, so he's on 3 warnings. Colin has got 1 warning. Ben has got an extra warning added onto his 3 warnings before, and he's got a penalty. J. Cole's on an extra 2 after his 3. Linked is on 5 as well. Same with Senna. And Extreme is on a penalty as well. So pretty much the ones who haven't got penalties, apart from Aiden, they're 1 warning away of getting a penalty. And this is the crucial factor. They're going to overdrive it on these last few laps. that will cause more mistakes to be made by the drivers, which strongly suggests we could see penalties from a lot of the grid. I'm excited for this one. Let us know your predictions in the chat on who you think's going to win this one. And yeah, it should be interesting. And oh, Larkin already done these 2 stops earlier on. Okay, that explains it. I should have checked Chad. Sorry, Larkin. But yeah, lap 24, 29. Get your predictions in, because I don't think you're seeing on your screen as your top 3 will be the order you'll see when they cross the line.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Aiden can certainly spoil the surprise. Same with Larkin and Colin. But the thing you say about Aiden having 0 warnings, he can push it a lot more than the drivers that have those 2 warnings, like Owen Wyatt. He can really attack these final few laps, but just make sure he attacks them at the corners where he could maybe, it could be just a final 2-lap thing. He might do an extension on the exit of turn 7 to give him the best run down at turn 8, just slightly, just so he can get a better run out the corner. You get these tactical warnings, you get to these situations where they are what happens in these Grand Prix, and those tactical warnings can easily win or lose you a Grand Prix. So safety car's going to be in at the end of this lap. We are going to have 5 laps of racing left in this Grand Prix. How aggressive will JM and Casper defend their positions on the mediums? And how far can Owen Wyatt break away from them? That is going to be the big question in this opening round of the season. Who will take the first, the top step of the roster this time around and open their season off with a bang? But I feel like when it comes, he is in, obviously in 4th, but able to push his car a lot better than everybody else due to the warning count.
Here we go then. We are about to go racing. The third start of the night, and it's going to be Owen Wyatt that controls the field away as we make our way towards lap 25 of 29. Owen has got to get his foot to the floor here, and we're going green. Owen Wyatt gets a great start from Casper then, and all Casper and JM needs to do is to try and hold position from the 2 prancing AlphaTauris. Aiden's chasing down one of them. Bryn is chasing down one of them of Larkin. Bryn has got past him up into 6th place, but Larkin is going to fight back in towards turn 3. Larkin's under pressure from his ERT comrade, Colin Mason, into turn 3, and he just about hold it there as well. Legs is at the moment. He's had a bit of a spin, but he's just about avoided it right now. But everyone is making some great battles. Casper and JM are definitely doing the Mexico City type of defence from Sergio Perez out at the moment. And Aiden is just trying his best to go past JM, but to no avail currently. Surely he has the straight line speed to do so as well. He's going to get boxed in as they head towards the final sector currently. And they almost made contact. That was so close to contact, but they just about kept it, saying Aiden finally gets past JM. And JM's getting absolutely swamped by cars who are on soft compound tyres. And Lakitu, where's Lakitu come from? He's up to 5th already, which is great. Owen Wyatt still leads, but he's going to be under pressure from the likes of Aiden in the next few laps. So watch out for Aiden. He's charged for the win. It's not over yet.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's all over the back of Casper now. Larkin's been forced wide by Bryn there through the final corner. Has picked up a penalty. He's going to the inside now. The AlphaTauri, a late move over and cut across from Bryn there causes Larkin to back out. Lakitu's gone wide on the exit of turn 2. It's going to be maybe even 3 wide. Larkin's actually going to get boxed in here by the Aston Martin in front. Bryn to the inside makes contact with Lakitu, and that's also Larkin following through. Ben Mills goes wide, picks up a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunately there for him. Of course, the bug happening at the exit of turn number 4, but further up, Aiden versus Casper. This is over position, but Casper does have the battery, and he might even look forward to attack Owen Wyatt into the turn 9 and 10 chicane. Who will come out on top? We've got 3 drivers. None of them have penalties up at the top here. It's going to be all about who can keep it calm, who can keep it consistent, and who can be uber cool in times like this. Bryn has got past JM. He's to the inside into turn 11, braking later. Then the Haas driver and the AlphaTauri promotes himself up into 4th place. Someone who could really capitalise off the penalties here is Colin Mason. He can promote himself up into 4th if he's able to stick with Bryn and the rest of the cars in front. He's all over the back of the Keto as Aiden is getting closer to Casper, but I feel like Aiden's jumped the gun here, and maybe, just maybe, using so much battery to get past JM was not the thing he needed to do, and as the Keto picks up another 3-second time penalty, I think that's him up to 15 seconds now, but for Aiden, yes, I feel like he might have jumped the gun here, and certainly he's going to struggle now to get past Casper. He's overdriving that car as he's all over the back of the Haas now as he heads into turn 6, which will then lead him through turn 7. Casper will have ERS and DRS to help him defend. Owen Wyatt could be in a spot above her here as well. Larkin's dropping down the order further back. But here comes Bryn as well on his teammate. Bryn has overtaken his teammate. Disaster maybe for Aiden. His teammate has a penalty. Aiden does not. But will Bryn be the battering ram that Aiden needs? DRS open now for Bryn. We know he has a bunch of pace in this race. Casper to the inside now of Owen Wyatt. Owen drops out of P1. He could get the switch back low on the exit at turn 12. The Keto and JM going side by side. Bryn goes wide. Aiden now to the outside through turn number 13. Aiden manages to pick off the place, but here he comes now, maybe to get past Owen Wyatt. Owen's not used too much battery, and I do feel like Aiden has used up too much in this stage of the Grand Prix. These drivers in front can certainly defend from him, but the thing is for Aiden, he does have the fresher tyres, so it's all going to be about that run on the final lap. Will Owen now look for a move on Casper to the inside of turn 3? He does. That's going to allow Aiden to go round the outside. What a move this will be from Aiden to be ahead of Owen Wyatt now through turn 4. He capitalised on the McLaren defending fresh air. He went round the outside, took the optimal line into turn 4, and he's up into 2nd place. Casper now, your race leader, but surely going to be overtaken here by the AlphaTauri. He's now got DRS open. It will be the AlphaTauri gaining and gaining on the back of the Haas in front of him. To the outside he goes for turn 9 and 10. We could have 3 wide as well. Owen Wyatt's pushing through too. Don't count him out in this Grand Prix, but he's fallen behind quite a bit to Aiden in front. He just needs to keep the DRS. Bryn to the inside now of Casper. It's all starting to kick off here after this safety car restart. Bryn manages to get past Casper. I think it's going to quiet down through this final part of the lap. Aiden leading the way as it currently stands. Owen still just about with that DRS as we're about to enter the final tour of this circuit, and Owen crucially has dropped out of DRS of Aiden. He has it down this main straight, but is defending from Bryn when he don't need to. Bryn getting the run on the exit of the corner. They're going to go side by side up into turn 3. Owen, of course, no DRS for him as they enter into turn 3. Bryn round the outside and gets the move done. And this is going to be, I think, Bryn's podium maybe to lose if he can pull out by enough. But I feel like Owen Wyatt will just be able to hang on to 2nd. Casper's going to be able to hang on as well. But look at the pace Bryn has. I think Aiden might be helping him slightly here by giving him the DRS. As here we go then, on the final time of this Grand Prix, the DRS down the back straight, the 3rd DRS zone on the circuit, which will then lead you through turns 9 and 10. Owen's getting closer and closer to the AlphaTauri in front. He'll be able to hang on to for 2nd place before Stewards, just in case Thingy can get his penalty removed. Mills has got past Larkin. He's got a nice calm and composed move there, but I think he does have more penalties than the Alpine. But coming through the penultimate corner now, I said look out for him at the start of the show, and Aiden is going to come across the line to win on debut here in One Hub Tier P1, and Aiden is the winner of your Australian Grand Prix with Owen in 2nd place. Casper manages to hang on to 3rd on those medium compounder tyres. Bryn in 4th, and then Larkin rounding out your top 5. But Aiden, he was calm and composed. He was uber cool in all of that. And wow, what a drive.
He had the best tyres. He had the best tyres out of everybody in the grid, and he was on soft tyres. So him pitting was definitely the right decision. And he had the least warnings, he had the least penalties, he had the least tyre wear, he had the soft rubber. Strongly suggested, though I predicted he was going to go to win this race. based on these predictions. I think without Taz, I wouldn't have gone to that conclusion. So that is a great re-addition to the season for that as well. Owen White does pick up the fastest lap of the race, so he gets 2 additional points, which will put him on 20 points, because you get additional point for finishing the race, and Aiden will be on 21 points. So the gap between Aiden and Owen will be 1 point going into round 2 in China. This is crazy. This is insane stuff. And we got Casper as well, who's not that far ahead of behind as well. That's going to be a close championship. So Aiden wins. Owen in second, Casper third. We've got Bryn, Larkin, Colin with a good recovery to 6th. Same with Larkin as well. Don't forget, he done his 2 stops earlier. He didn't need to pit again, but he was on the fresher rubber and that helped him a little bit. Extreme in 7th, J. Cole 8th, Blinks in 9th. Ben Mills, good recovery for top 10 from his drive-through. Then we got JM, Lakitu, Senna. Fair play to him for recovery despite his side pod damage. Georgian, who unfortunately DNF'd. Same with Nick, Samba, and Speed Queen. Both Ferraris, I think, are going to be Neil Pointe. Same with Red Bull as well. I'm just looking at ERS, by the way. The top 2 were on 6% going into the final lap. That's how close it was for them fighting for the win today. Brilliant job from everybody in this P1 grid. We should be in for a very exciting season.
Yeah, we certainly shouldn't. To add to Aiden's race win there, I mean, he didn't actually pick up a warning on those final few laps while he was doing all that battling as well. So it just makes his race win even better.
Yeah.
Is that he played it all by the books. He played the rule book perfectly, and it was just a very, very good victory. I said to look out for him. He's a driver which I know personally is very quick, and on his day, he's unstoppable. And he's just shown that today, of course. Sort of got helped with the collision between Nick and Nathan earlier on in the Grand Prix. But for Aiden, of course, a very quick driver. Many congratulations to him. And yeah, a win on debut here in One Hub for Aiden. So massive congratulations. And what a way to introduce yourself to everybody who might not know him.
Yes, and he gained 1 place as well. He started P2, which was really, really good. Necessarily don't have to necessarily start P1 in order to win this one. And he had the fresher rubber, which helped him a little bit as well. So 21 points to his name, and he's leading over 1 point over Owen coming into round 2. Now, we got to pick our driver of the day and a question to ask that driver. So I'm going to let you go first. It's going to be hard to choose, I think, on who we think should be driver of the day. But who do you think should be driver of the day, and what would you like to ask him?
I won't go for Aiden. He drove really well. But just in case you weren't going to pick him, I'm going to give it to Larkin. I don't know if you were going to pick him.
Nope, I wasn't picking Larkin, but that was my second choice.
But yeah, Larkin from 17th on the grid. And I think finished 5th in the end. So what I want to ask him is what was the strategy? Because, of course, he did the 2-stop quite early on. And what I really want to ask him, if I can actually phrase it into a proper question, is was that strategy and overall move when it comes to tyre compounds planned before the race? Or was it just somewhat roll off what was happening in the Grand Prix in front of you?
Good question. Really good question. I'm going to have to go for the race winner, and that is Aiden. Started second, finished third. Had the best tyres available. He did soft, medium, soft. He was on those tyres for 2 laps before he pitted. And I'd just like to say my question for him. Big congratulations for your win on debut. Would you be able to keep this going for the rest of the season? That is my concise question for Aiden, and you can vote for them very, very soon on X, but we like to call it Twitter because X sounds very weird, really. So make sure you go and do that. But we are about to wrap up, but before we do, let's talk about next week. It's going to be very different. Sprint race around China, but no qualifying. Reverse championship order. So the people that didn't do as well this week or did not turn up, they'll be starting towards the front of the grid. And the ones who did well today, they're going to be starting near the back of the sprint. That's going to make things, I think, a little bit more interesting going into race 2. We're going to be seeing people that don't necessarily fight for race wins near the front.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's going to be a very interesting Grand Prix. And it just adds to the challenge for the drivers like Aiden and Owen to make their way up the order. So China is a circuit where it does promote overtaking, of course, down that back straight. It's going to be very crucial to keep within that DRS for making moves down there. So overall, I reckon it's going to be a fun one. China, obviously a circuit where it favours one driver more than another, and that can play a big part as well. So we can only wait and see what will happen, but I feel like China could certainly be a brilliant sprint and feature race. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it as well. China is known for wet weather, but it's not up to me to decide. It's not up to the game to decide. It's up to the wheel of fate, as it were, as well. And we still got none of the wet combinations have been picked yet for the race. So that is going to be interesting. I hope it doesn't rain for my sake for when I race there next week. But we are about to wrap up. We've still got plenty of stories to be told next week. Certain drivers that weren't here, certain drivers that DNF'd earlier on as well that could have had a great finish, but unfortunately they cannot. Can they recover next week? We'll have to wait and see. Now let's have a big final plug to our sponsors, Next Level Racing, who are providing nice prizes this season to be confirmed. Aztec Sim Sports as well, providing some merch for us. Pure Sim Gear providing a discount code to all members of the 100 Racing community, as well as free items from their store for the winner of the rankings. Our partners Vespertine that are supporting our merch and apparel, and also ERT that are sponsored the league with trophies, and also partner the Going Gets Tough award. That is some information there. I've got the wrong image, but I don't really care, to be honest. I will go and change that afterwards. And also our partners at SimGrid are providing our community and platforms for the leagues to use, and they provide lovely standings as well. So great race. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Well, thank you, Jess, for having me in the com box, and thank you everybody for tuning in this evening. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and yeah, I feel like we're going to have a great season ahead, and looking forward to being back for China next week. Probably will be a little bit later of a start time because I'm back to my normal schedule. Yeah, back to my normal schedule. So yeah, thank you, Jess, and thank you all for your support.
Yes, and we will see you will be on YouTube next week. Thank you for joining us on Twitch. It will be P2 that will be on Twitch next week, so you can check that out at 7 o'clock UK time, and then we've got P3 on YouTube as well at 6 p.m. So for myself and Max, thank you for watching. See you next week on YouTube at 8 p.m. for the Chinese Grand Prix reverse grid sprint race and then a 50% feature race. I think it's going to be very entertaining, if I think so. See you soon. Bye-bye.